Coming up on this edition of Cogeco News, discussing pay cut for mayor and council. First Robotics changing the way they do things during pandemic. And remembering the late golf legend, Bill Moreland. Welcome inside the Your TV studio for this Tuesday edition of Cogeco News. Truly local, my name is Clark Heipel. With budgetary pressure mounting daily during the coronavirus pandemic, various municipalities across the province are adopting new measures to offset tax pressures. Huntsville Town Council took a pay cut as a symbolic gesture of support to taxpayers. Is this something North Bay City Council is considering? We discuss with North Bay Mayor Al McDonald over Skype. Last week, Huntsville Town Council approved a 10% pay decrease. Is that being considered by North Bay City Council?
So right at this time, I've not heard from any councillors to bring a motion forward on it. I mean, they're not paid overly well, as you know, and they're putting a lot of time and effort into it. Congratulations to Huntsville. They get paid for extra stuff that they're doing away with that our council doesn't get to begin with. As for the budget itself, we're in pretty good shape, Clark. We are offering assistance to our businesses and to our residents by deferring, water and tax bills and waiving penalties and interest. So our budget's doing well. Unfortunately, you referenced layoffs. We did lay off like 80 casual and part-time people. We're not hiring the summer students. We have a hiring freeze on. We're doing everything we can to make sure our budget's solid. We do have a strong balance sheet. So we're in pretty good shape, but our concern really is for our citizens and our businesses.
With the weather becoming much more pleasurable and the May long weekend coming up, there is going to be an influx of Southerners coming north, and the possible of community spread is going to increase. How can citizens stay safe whether or not they interact with these Southern Ontario folks that come north?
So our recommendations are always the same. Stay home. Practice good hygiene, make sure you physical distance, wash your hands as many times as you can, no unnecessary travel. We do know that there's going to be an influx of people coming from the south to their cottages, mostly to the Muskokas. A lot of them don't come this far, but any chance of visitors coming up from other centers where, COVID is, at a much higher level, because we have a very low level, there's always risk. So the way we can protect our citizens is to ask them to make sure that they follow all those protocols to a T. That's what will protect them.
Is there anything that can be done legislatively to prohibit the travel of these folks? Because I know someone who has a cottage an hour away, they can't go to the cottage because it's in Quebec, whereas people from down south are traveling 4 or 5 hours to come here to go to their cottage.
Yeah, that would be a provincial or federal government decision. We would have no say in it. I don't know if they could even block the highways. It doesn't really even sound plausible. I have on my blogs have stated that we just need to focus on keeping our citizens safe. To try to protest or stop people from coming south, north to their cottages just wouldn't be good use of our time. We'd be better off focusing on other ways we can protect our citizens.
No new cases of the coronavirus in the North Bay Parry Sound District Health Unit as reported by the local unit. These numbers coming through at around 1 o'clock today. Here is a look at the data provided by the Public Health Organization. No major changes, just under 100 new tests and very similar numbers from one day prior. What was initially reported to be a discovery of multiple deceased dogs in a rural/industrial area of West Ferris has now turned out to be deceased wildlife. Cogeco News contacted the Ministry of the Solicitor General for information concerning the initial reports of deceased dogs in the area and around the area you're seeing here. We received a statement back from the spokesperson Brent Ross, quote, "The ministry was contacted yesterday on Monday to investigate a complaint related to deceased dogs in the North Bay area. When further investigation was undertaken, it is believed to be the remains belonging to a raccoon, a fox, and a coyote. Pending confirmation from the local police, the ministry will be taking no further action in this matter, unquote. Usually at the start of May, police forces across Ontario gather in Toronto to remember those who fell in the line of duty. That didn't happen because of COVID, but there was a small local ceremony to take its place. North Bay has lost 2 police officers in the line of duty in its history.
Every year, the first Sunday of May, they have a Ontario Police Memorial down at Queen's Park in Toronto, and it attracts police officers, police personnel, and family members of police that go down and they take a look at the wall, which has 267 names on it right now of officers that have made the big sacrifice. They've given their life for policing in the province of Ontario. So generally speaking, there's thousands of people that are attracted to that every year. This year, of course, because of COVID-19, it was canceled, and rightly so. We have to, maintain our distancing and separate and to beat the virus. Having said that, we had a small ceremony here led by our chief Todd, and we did have a piper here to do the Amazing Grace. A moment of silence to reflect was done.
There are 2 officers in the history of the North Bay Police Service that fell in the line of duty, and you want to salute them as well.
That's right, Constable Slater and Constable Lefebvre. They both gave their lives in the line of duty, and it's right and proper to take time to reflect on what they gave up, to protect the citizens of North Bay and the area.
And the next time you travel in or out of West Ferris, the Fred Lefebvre Memorial Overpass, a sign has been erected to dedicate that overpass to that individual. We have reached break time here on this Tuesday edition of Cogeco News. Do stay tuned. We check in with the Entertainment Insider to take a look at a very intriguing documentary on Netflix. All that and more right after this.
Do you see the text Greg sent back? No.
What text? Welcome back to Cogeco News. Colton Chaput is an award-winning member of First Team 1305. The robotics season has to go through a lot of changes because of the pandemic. Many events were canceled, but some virtual presentations did take place. Chaput was one of 5 Dean's List winners for the efforts on their team and in the community. Colton joined our Greg Estabrooks via Skype.
Yeah, for sure. It was a little weird to have that experience. We still managed to keep going, though. A few of the things that we did, there weren't really any competitions this year, but they created a new live show that was online. They streamed it. First Canada created First Canada Live, which is a really cool way to stay connected with the First community. So what they did to give teams a chance to showcase their work this season, for those who did get a chance to compete and those who didn't, they were able to let those teams come on the show and present their robots, which was really cool. Or they even had little segments about tips from expert teams on what you can do to improve your team. Another thing that they chose to do was to continue with the awards. Certain awards they decided that they could continue. For example, the Chairman's Award, instead of having the presentation at the events, they decided to just base their decisions on the essays and the executive summary that was already submitted. There was a few interviews for the individual awards as well, which was a good way to keep those things going.
And you won an award, put you in the best 5 in Ontario in regards to this competition. What exactly did you do to earn that honor, Colton?
I was very honored to find out that I was even nominated by my team. There's a lot of outstanding students on our team, and I think any one of them could have been nominated as well.
Time for another installment of the Entertainment Insider with Adam Colental. This Tuesday, Adam takes a look at the documentary entitled A Secret Love, telling the story of 2 women who fell in love while playing the game they love. Here's Adam.
Hey everybody, it's Adam Colental, the Entertainment Insider, here with a review that kind of spins off of last week's look at one of my favorite sports movies of all times, the baseball classic known as A League of Their Own. What does this have to do with a love story for the ages? Well, you're about to find out if you sit down and watch the 2020 new Netflix documentary, A Secret Love. This is the story of 2 women, Terry and Pat, who came from the cold of Canada to combine their efforts to play for the All-American Girls Baseball League, which you may remember was the inspiration for the movie A League of Their Own. And during that time, they found out that they had more than a shared love of baseball. They found a shared love together. Back in a time when, well, gay relationships were certainly not accepted as they are today. What makes this slice of life documentary really great is the archival footage, much of which you're seeing behind me right now. This was footage that you would very be hard pressed to find today, of these 2 women who were very much in love but couldn't always let people in on their secret. This is a really great story if you are somebody who's ever found yourself having to hide the love that you have for somebody, or you felt ashamed of the love you had for somebody. But even if not, even if you've never found yourself in that kind of situation, it's a really fantastic love story about these 2 women who really kind of broke the rules their entire lives. First by going out and doing something that was seen as kind of unladylike by playing baseball, and then by breaking the romance rules of what was acceptable back then by being in a secret relationship with one another. Actually, the thing that I think I liked most about this film wasn't even the love story, although that is the main selling feature, and it's a good reason to check it out. It was more so the story of these 2 people who loved each other very much and were just dealing with the inevitability of getting older. Much of the film revolves around Terry and Pat trying to find themselves a new home. The house that they live in is getting too big for them to keep up, and there are some medical and health issues to deal with as well. And I actually found the most fascinating thing about this story was the struggles that they went through to try and figure out where they're going to end up, and searching for a place that would accept them, as of course decades of trying to hide and being afraid that people were going to find out that you loved somebody were pretty ingrained into them by this point in time. I highly recommend this documentary if you're a fan of love stories, because this definitely is one for the ages. If you enjoy slice of life looks at things, if you enjoy just kind of taking the everyday things that we experience in our lives and kind of exploring them, deep diving on them a little bit more, or if you're just a fan of documentaries, this is a great Canadian documentary and one that I would recommend. Probably stay away from it if you're not a big fan of love stories, or if you're looking for a little bit more flash. This is a bare bones documentary, but what works about it is that it lets the emotion of the subjects being captured shine through. Overall, I recommend it. Check this one out. Make sure that a secret love does not become a secret in the film world.
Thank you, Adam, for those reviews. Much appreciated. Do stay tuned. Greg Estabrooks will have your 5-day weather forecast. Will it warm up? Yes and no, right after this.
Weather is brought to you by Canadore College. Great things happen here.
Welcome back to the Tuesday weather forecast, everybody. Greg Estabrooks here near the Cenotaph. We are here on a sunny but rather chilly May the 5th. Today is the 75th anniversary of the German surrender in Holland, a liberation that Canadians played a huge role in. Of course, celebrations have been canceled because of COVID-19, or they're very, very limited. On Friday is the 75th anniversary of VE, or Victory in Europe Day, and again, celebrations that would have been taking place across much of Europe and North America canceled because of the virus, which is very unfortunate, understandable, but still unfortunate. Maybe take a moment to think of your grandparents or great-grandparents in their efforts in helping Canada and the Allies win the war, celebrating 75 years of VE Day later on this week. Now let's get to the weather forecast brought to you by Environment Canada. Tonight, a few clouds, winds up to 15 kilometers per hour, but very slight, obviously. A low, though, of -3 wind chill. Still talking wind chills in May. -7. Wednesday, sunny. A mix of sun and cloud, a slight wind. High up to 12, but wind chill -6 in the morning. UV index 6 or high. Wednesday night, cloudy. Chance of a rain shower or a flurry. Low of -4. Thursday, only up to 4. Pretty good chance of snow in the morning. Cloudy periods and a good chance of snow overnight on Thursday, a low of -7. Friday, a mix of sun and cloud with 40% chance of flurries, high of just 2. Clouds overnight Friday with a low of -5 and a slight chance of a flurry. This is lovely. Cloudy on Saturday with a 40% chance of flurries and a high of 3. -4 overnight Saturday with cloudy periods. The normals for this time of the year are 16 and 4. We are obviously nowhere near that. The high on Monday was 6 and the low was -2. Well, that is it for the weather for this Tuesday. Mr. Heupel has the complete sportscast for you right after this.
Sports is brought to you by Tag Construction for all your construction needs.
Welcome back to Cogeco News. It's time now for your sportscast. Tributes are pouring in as local golf legend Bill Moreland has passed away at the age of 90. Here are just a selection of his accomplishment in sport. 12-time champion of the Northern Golf Competition, Ontario Amateur Champion, Ontario Champion of Champions, 3-time winner of the Ontario Best Ball Championship with his brother Dave, Ontario Golf Hall of Fame inducted in 2009, and he was inducted for 2 sports, golf and basketball, in the North Bay Sports Hall of Fame. Stay tuned to Cogeco News on Wednesday. We will have comments from some individuals who knew him well. Rest in peace, Mr. Moreland. Speaking of golf, thousands upon thousands of golfers in our area just chomping at the bit, itching to break out the clubs and let the balls fly. Last Friday, the province gave the go-ahead to course managers across the province to prepare for the upcoming season. When that season will start remains unknown. Wouldn't this be nice? Many golfers cannot wait to hit the links. Right now, there's a combination of factors keeping golfers off the courses. The first being the coronavirus pandemic. The second, cool, soggy weather conditions.
Currently here at Osprey, we are trying to get ready for the season. I think that we're doing a good job. We need the weather to cooperate as much as, we need the more information from the government. It's been so cold lately that it's tough to grow grass yet.
What limitations can be put in place to keep golfers safe? Could it be foursomes limited to 2? Could it be no-touch cups to get the balls out? Has that been explored?
Everything has been explored, and we're just waiting to learn more. And as you know, about a little over a week ago, Saskatchewan and New Brunswick, as provinces, allowed their golf courses to open. They had some pretty strict regulations, so we've been reviewing those. Group sizes, I understand, I think are still at 4, but the spread between tee times has to be 20 minutes. In their cases, we're typically 9 or 10. Only one person on a golf cart unless they live in the same household, and that's certainly doable. Obviously, limiting the fixtures on the golf course, no ball washers, no rakes and sand traps, and fixed cups, yes, so that people are not retrieving their golf ball out of the cup, nor are they touching the flag. A few other regulations that were involved in the other provinces that are kind of interesting. No caddies, so you couldn't, and by that they mean I don't think they even want someone to bring a friend with them. If you're coming to golf, then you're coming to golf, but someone can't walk along would be one of my understandings. But the no caddy rules, because they don't want multiple people touching the same golf club. Food and beverage will be severely restricted. No beverage carts in those provinces. Takeout only from if the club can accommodate that, and just similar things like that. No putting greens, like no practice putting green, no driving ranges in their cases, but that is to be known that those are other provinces. So we're waiting for what the regulations in Ontario will be.
Once you get the go-ahead from the province, will you be ready in terms of the course? Say it's next week that the province says you can go ahead without certain things. Will you be ready? The course will be ready?
I'll put it this way. So here we are. We're Monday, May 4th. And if the Premier came on television this afternoon and said, okay, Ontario, you're free to play golf. Here in Northern Ontario, I don't think many golf courses would be ready, and we certainly wouldn't. We've come through a wet, cold weekend. You and I are doing this interview. It's currently 2 degrees Celsius outside, so it's not warm enough to grow grass. So we have some repair and some maintenance that has to take place in the golf course, and it requires a bit of weather. So we're a week to 10 days, I would say, from best case scenario being ready to play golf.
Well, he started and finished his OHL career in Owen Sound, but Matthew Struthers had a good run with North Bay in between. It was announced that the forward has signed a deal with the American Hockey League's Cleveland Monsters. Struthers, who scored a goal in 2019 in a short stint with an AHL team in Laval, had 22 goals this year in the O. It was split between North Bay and the Attack. Congratulations to Struthers on that deal. We have reached the conclusion of this Tuesday edition of Cogeco News. Do stay tuned to Cogeco News and your TV all week long. More local news, weather, and sports live at 5 on Wednesday. Join myself and Greg then.